Mr. President, how do you respond to the questions about the Turks sending payments to the Ukrainian rebels, money that it has been proven by WikiLeaks is coming directly from the United States? Mr. President, why aren't the people of Louisiana getting the support that they need? Baton Rouge is underwater. What are you waiting for? To flood out New Orleans again? Mr. President, the state of California is on fire, literally on fire. When will the federal government be reinforcing the drought regulations? You know what's funny? Really funny? Right about now, I bet there's a whole bunch of you watching this review who are wishing to God I really was the President of the United States. No, not the very charming and more than adequately abled actor Kevin Spacey. Me! A 1/6 scale plastic figure whose lips don't even move. And yet somehow, I'd still be a better president than Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, or whoever else you're pissed off at yet this week. But maybe that's for a different story and a different review later. Right now, let's get to this review of this figure. Hey everybody, I've been wanting to do this review for a while, and I thought, with just about 80 days to go to our U.S. federal election, now would be a good time to deal us into the House of Cards and the bad for the greater good figure of Francis Underwood, created with a license by PopToys. And it is a very impressive figure that you get. I can remove the cardboard shipper. The outer box is quite impressive. You have a repetition of the House of Cards bad for the greater good motto, Francis Underwood. And it comes with a clearly licensed likeness of Kevin Spacey, 2 flags, a fully dressed figure, and frankly, the big reason I got it, the presidential podium. Gee, why would I have wanted that? This is one of those slipcase boxes, so I'm going to turn it on its side. Pray to God I don't kill myself. Just trying to slip this out. It's very tight, so you know when it ships soundly. Again, you have the actual box itself, repeating the slipcase. And then on the back side, you have a view of him, the figure, the podium, the detailing on the flags, the fact that he has a little cheat stand, and it shows you how to assemble the podium. There is a seal on the box, which I will very gently break. No hanging chads. It's on both sides, which leads me to believe that either this box, this part, which I'm now pulling away, or the inside of it is going to be, yep. This, it's kind of hard to see in the video. But this is your traditional dark curtain. And my guess is you would, obviously this is like any other interview session. You have the dark curtain in front of it, so you put the podium there and it looks like he's giving a press briefing. Though you do have on one side, if you wanted to pose him that way, you have this nice view of the Potomac and some of the buildings off of it. So you do have that potential if you can find a way to cut out the writing on the top and bottom to have a nice little backdrop there. You can, again, as you can figure out how to do that, and just focus on the Capitol or some of the other buildings of the Potomac. Here he is himself. with the podium and some of the accessories. So I'm going to pause here and debox all of this, and you can see for yourself how good or how bad this is by your estimation. And now deboxed, here he is. Francis Underwood, also known occasionally as Kevin Spacey, also known as the brokerage firm guy. Those commercials are great, aren't they? Let's take a look first at the sculpt. So I'll go in a little closer. The hair is molded on, so there's not much posability in terms of being able to redo his hair. But it is a very good likeness of an older Kevin Spacey. And the reason I'm making that point of saying older Kevin Spacey is a point I'll show you in a little bit, actually. He does have very nice aged detailing, a little bit of a, let me get the point out, a little bit of a furrowed brow here. Some nice detailing under his eyes. You can definitely tell that he's fraught with serious thoughts. He also appears to have, not that it's been flocked on, but the painting is such. He has a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. So we've caught him at the end of his business day. Let's move this up a little closer still, and there we go. You can see the detailing, especially around the face, the mouth, the chin. Very nicely done. The suit is lined. At least the jacket is. And I'm going to say at least the jacket is because I did try to examine the suit carefully, and the belt is on so tightly I could not take it off. And I don't think you can really do unless, and I would not recommend putting this Kevin Spacey into a different outfit unless you're really prepared to perhaps do some damage to that belt. The suit jacket has real buttons. I left the top one buttoned, but the bottom one is open. There is no fly. The fly is Velcro. It's not a zipper. And as you can see, as I said, or maybe it's a little tricky to see, but take my word for it, the jacket is lined. I have absolutely no idea what's going on beneath, if he's got underwear on or not. He is not, however, wearing socks. He does have an ankle joint, which means it's posable. I don't have him on the stand. He is standing leaning up against the presidential podium, which you're seeing little peeks of as I put him back down. His arms can move. I don't want to... He can bend like this. Let me see if I can get him to... It's a little tight to do, but you could have him standing like this in the pledge. Surprisingly, there's only one set of hands, so on the one hand, that's kind of a disappointment that you can't pose the hands more. But then again, it's not like these hands are unusual with this joint. Many other action figures come with it, and you could get whatever kind of hands you want from them or just buying sets of hands on eBay. So let's push him back. So and as I do have him leaning on the podium, so one of the trademarks of an action figure is that if you have something sturdy behind them, you can usually have them stand and pose a little bit without having to put them into a stand. So let's go ahead, speaking of stands and what he's leaning on, let's take a look at the main accessories. So coming with this is, obviously, as I said, the main reason why I bought this, the presidential podium with mics, modern day mics, not the 1960s, 1950s version you would have seen with the Kennedy podium. And two flags. I'm hoping I'm displaying them in the correct positions. That's how they appear on the slipcase. The American flag on the left, or what would be the president's right. And on the president's left and my right, the flag of the office of the President of the United States. You have the podium with the seal. And you do have this backdrop here, which is supposed to be a curtain, but it also comes with a wood floor, which fits in very nicely. You have to bend the curtain to almost a 90-degree angle, and the floor piece slips right in. It looks like wood, it's not, but the nice thing is you can certainly use that in any number of other dioramas for 12-inch figures that you have. Full disclosure, I don't watch House of Cards, even though I am a Kevin Spacey fan, so I don't get this part. I don't get that the podium comes with a stand for him to stand on, which I will put him in a second. I don't think Kevin Spacey is one of our taller actors, so maybe that's an acknowledgement of that. But then again, when do we ever see Gillian Anderson standing on the box she stands on when she talks to David Duchovny in The X-Files? True story. Nice detailing here, and you're probably not going to believe this, but the podium is hollow here. Easy to search. There's the little piece here where the president could put his book or his notes. And of course, the top part. Let's reintroduce the president, posing him this way. Pull this out a little bit more. That's about right. Here's the side view. So his feet fit very snugly in the stand, and then that puts him in the right position to address the nation. And we'll just put him back a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Francis Underwood. All in all, not a bad figure. I was a teensy surprised they didn't come with an extra set of hands or something like a watch or a pen, but I think really the main gimme of this set is the really amazing Kevin Spacey face sculpt. And the fact that you get this amazing solid wood presidential podium, which we will talk about which we will talk a little bit more about in a couple minutes. But I do want to conclude this video by pointing something out to you, which I'm going to do in a second. And that's this. This was not a cheap set. It's quite heavy to ship. Obviously, they had to pay a lot of money to Kevin Spacey to get permission. So what if you're a crazy fan of House of Cards and you want to do a diorama, but you can't afford the sculpt? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. So as I said, this is a great Kevin Spacey figure, but what if you can't afford the whole House of Cards set? Well, to be honest with you, it is quite easy to find flags anywhere. People can and have made podiums out of other materials. As a matter of fact, this particular action figure came with a lot of styrofoam that you can, of course, cut to shape, pile up, and print out the presidential seal. Or, if you're lucky, you might find this guy. This, too, is Kevin Spacey. This Kevin Spacey is not officially licensed. Cannot be found in stores right now, but can be found on eBay if you search for Power Team or Adventure Team Fisherman. power team or adventure team fisherman, and it's a figure that comes in khakis, a Hawaiian shirt, and fishing gear. Obviously, he's not wearing that right now. I wanted to try and make him look similar to this, the presidential Kevin Spacey. But it is a relatively close likeness. I'm just going to switch him out. Gently. The stand does have that ability that you can, that you can push the back part in. And if I do that, now there you go. There is a slightly younger, with a little less hair, believe it or not, Kevin Spacey. If I come in for the close-up, you can see, though, that, again, he still has that 5 o'clock shadow. The hair is receding a little bit more at the temples. Not as old, but still, obviously, Kevin Spacey. So if you can find him, and then you can put the pieces together, you could have your own Kevin Spacey. Now, there's somebody else who would like to make an appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama. Yes, this is the Barack Obama official, relatively, action figure that came out in 2009. Obviously not in the suit he came with, but I just wanted to put him at the podium so you could see the posability, the playability of the podium, how he would stand. I'm going to scroll down first to show you the bottom of the podium. And then I'm going to show you that I have him standing on the stand itself, like the Kevin Spacey figure. But unlike the Kevin Spacey figure, he will fall if you don't lean him back up against something. He's not weighted to stand. But he would stand. Now, in reality, I happen to think Barack Obama is taller than Spacey. So if he were going to stand at the podium, he should be able to do so. Let's scroll back up. And he can, but his face would be partially obscured by the mics, which he really isn't when you see him at the podium. So you would have to put him on that stand. There's another very popular president that very recently came out as an action figure for the second time. I want to show him too at this podium, though he comes with his own. Can you guess who I mean? We'll have him enter. There is the torch, and there is who it was passed to. Just from the side of it, it looks like they would be about the same height. At some point, I am going to review this figure and talk a lot more about this particular Kennedy sculpt, which is not the best, but there has never been a really good one, and that's because he had a very interesting face. Let's go ahead. I'm going to put him down. I'm very gingerly going to pull President Obama out. Bring in President Kennedy. By the way, I can't swear to it, but I think the podium is held in place by magnets. The top part of the podium is held in place by magnets, is what I'm trying to say. So let's go ahead and... There's President Kennedy. I think he looks a little better at this podium than the other two do. He's addressing the nation. So clearly, let's just, I might as well just put them all in. The real one, the other real one, on one side. The House of Cards, Kevin Spacey, here. Please don't fall. So all in all, Let's just go ahead and put the focus back on Mr. Spacey. Guess we'll put him here. All in all, the Kevin Spacey House of Cards figure is great. He does lend himself to playing Kevin Spacey in other roles, but do not despair. There is another Kevin Spacey out there, as I said. If you want to go ahead and we'll do one more quick comparison of the two. Let me put this back down. Obviously now again you can see them side by side. Clearly the better sculpt is the one on your right, the left in the podium pose. But both of them, do bear enough of a resemblance to Spacey that you could very easily use one for the other. But in terms of the whole altogether picture, posing with the podium, etc., etc., that's the man. Really good figure, really good playability, posability potential, very good ability to swap out both the backdrop and the floor drop for other dolls and other figures. All in all, worth the money, especially when you add on to the fact that there are other presidents you can use this with. So I say go ahead and get it. It's great. I'm certainly going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy playing with it for a long time to come. So this is Barbara with Francis Underwood and Francis Underwood Light and the 35th and 43rd Presidents of the United States. Wishing you a happy end of August, and thanks for watching. Take care.